And we are live. Welcome back. J-Bone here for Smash This Podcast. Gonna run down some Hell in a Cell from last night. WWE's 2017 Hell in a Cell. Coming from the new, what is it called? The Little Caesars Arena? Or whatever. In Detroit, the brand new one. Way to fire up that place for a brand new event. Joining me today on this lovely Monday, Mr. CM Stylez. How you doing, brother?
I am doing good, my good friend. Gotta say, after watching this pay-per-view last night, I got some good things and bad things to say about it. But yeah, very excited to be on the show, and I'm glad you invited me on here today.
Oh yeah, dude. It's good to have you on. And I haven't been talking a lot of WWE lately. I really need to do more of that. But yeah, it depends on what happens and what when something's good, we talk about it, and when it's bad, sometimes we don't or we complain. But in this case, I'd say it was overall good. But we'll go over it. Not everything was tremendous on this.
Oh, that's for damn sure.
Yeah, well, I gotta say they kicked it off in grand style with the Hell in a Cell match, the tag team match. Wow, that became a giant follow that moment. Just it set the course. I have to imagine it fired everyone up and back to say, wow, now we have to go out there and try to do as good as they did, because that could have been the headliner right there, and I would not have been disappointed with it. What did you think of that opening match, dude?
The opening match, are we talking about the pre-show, or are we talking about the actual Hell in a Cell?
Oh, you know what? I didn't even watch the pre-show. Did you watch the pre-show or no?
I watched the pre-show. It was all right. But all right, we're going to skip the pre-show today. Let's talk about this opener between the Usos and the New Day. They redefined Hell in a Cell. The Uso Penitentiary was in effect last night. Let me tell you, it didn't matter what the New Day brought to the table. The Usos always found a way to one-up it. And I have to say, I've been very impressed with the way the Usos have been booked. I am happy that they finally turned them heel, almost a year ago. And ever since they got this repackaged gimmick, I gotta say, they're rolling with it. They're making it happen. Not only in that, they are doing it in a PG environment, which makes this even more intense. They are breaking boundaries and they are breaking rules. And I love it. This is the reason I've always been a Uso fan. Even during their face run, I knew they were stale, but I was like, I always had faith in them. And last night, they overcame all the odds. Even with all three New Day members in the cell, it did not matter. And just crumpling over top of New Day and regaining their tag team championship for a second, third time already? My God.
They're five. Well, I don't know how many times they've been SmackDown tag team champs, but they are. I think they said last night on the post, the Talking Smack or Talking Hell in a Cell, whatever they call the post show now. I think they said 5-time tag team champs. That's nothing to sneeze at. That is impressive. Yeah, I mean, I've always been a fan of the Usos, even when they weren't everybody's cup of tea. And they came out to the bright, frilly, whatever, I was always impressed with their work ethic, though, even though if they weren't popular and it seemed like the gimmick itself was running stale or was overdone, was around too long, they always brought 100% to the ring.
Yes.
And same with the New Day, they're showing the rest of the locker room be like, hey, there's no reason why we all can't get a piece of this pie, but you need to bring it like this. And then there's other cases like, the Fashion Files, which is just, you know, a comedy gimmick, but it's good to throw that in there. You know, they are goofy. I do appreciate that. But as far as work ethic in the ring, these guys, I was on the edge of my seat through this whole first match and the whole last match. The rest of it, I was like, okay, show me something. And it was like, sometimes it was okay. Sometimes it wasn't. But dude, when they I have to be careful how I say this so it doesn't come off bad. When they hung Xavier Woods on the ring post when he was handcuffed, you know, and they were beating him. Oh my God. I just about fell off my damn couch between cringing and laughing at the same time, dude. That was ridiculous.
What do you expect? This is the WWE. Anything can happen in this company. As they said back in the 90s, if JR was here right now, he'd probably quit his job. Because he would hang his head in shame the way that the way they're treating their young superstars. That right there, as you say, cringe. We all know how the WWE is based on race. Doing something like this and letting it fly had to piss off most of that majority of people.
And I want to bring up something that one of my friends said last night on Twitter, but I can't because just me commenting on it is going to make me look bad, and I'm not doing that. And I don't want to throw shade on my friends either. So I'm not going to comment on it, but I was oh my goodness. But the match itself was ridiculous. It was, you know, I think sometimes in the past, and I'm not going to pinpoint one or another because it's not coming to me, but I know I've seen Hell in the Cell matches that have borderline disappointed me just because you expect more in the Hell in a Cell because it's something that we don't see every day. So you expect the tables, you expect the kendo sticks, even if they're wrapped in rainbow crepe paper.
Yeah, I never understood why they did that, but New Day rocks.
It's, you know, it goes right along with the gimmick, but it's nonetheless, you know, everybody gets a fair beating in this one. But the tables, the chairs, the one original thing that they did in here that I don't think I've ever seen before is when they took the kendo sticks and they pinned. Don't tell me which one because I'm not going to know. One of the Usos in the corner,
and
like trapped him, and then Kofi's on the outside barking at him. And then they were just, you know, pounding away at him. And I was like, okay, well, that's different. You know, I'll give them that for originality. I've never seen them use kendo sticks to trap someone in a corner. As ridiculous as it looked at first, it was effective. It did its thing.
It very well, it very much was. This is where I go back to where anything can happen in this company, and they pulled out all the stops. Even though we'll talk about the main event in a little bit, but I think this succeeded over the main event in terms of Hell in a Cell matches.
Yeah, I mean it stayed in the cell, and I'm fine with that. You know, not every Hell in a Cell match has to go all over the entire arena. For the amount of action that they did in the cell, and they kept it in the cell while coffee, dear God, I only had one cup today, so bear with me, folks. While Kofi Kingston was outside losing his mind, and the post interview, very emotional, you know, to have him on the outside watching in, you know, and he couldn't do anything but be a cheerleader on the outside and you know, cheer his brothers on best he could. That That couldn't have been easy. And I also want to give credit to Xavier Woods because he was banged up with a knee brace on, and everything he did in this match was impressive as well. Any final thoughts on this match before we move on?
Not really. I mean, they pulled out all the stops. They did lots of spots here and there with kendo sticks and hang-ins, and yeah. Yeah, I got nothing.
Oh man. All right. So yeah, overall, I'd give this at least 4 out of 5 stars. I'm definitely happy with it. Rusev versus Orton. I went into this with zero expectation because the buildup for this has just been. It's been a little back and forth for me. I mean, the comical side of it, bringing Aiden English into help bring more heat to Rusev, I think helped, but I think it also hurt it in a sense because Aiden English, I think a lot of people actually like Aiden English because of remembering his work from NXT.
Mm-hmm.
Not seeing that brought to the main roster, and now that, and I can't remember his tag partner's name. That's horrible.
Oh, Simon Gotch.
Thank you, Gotch. Now that Gotch is gone, they they keep replaying the whole RKO out of nowhere done to Aiden as he's singing about Rusev Day.
Yeah.
I loved that. That was perfectly timed. It was hilarious. It was one of those just when you thought that the RKO out of nowhere might be getting a little stale. Well, that was certainly a good one. But the one-off matches leading up to this that were like 1-2 seconds long, that does absolutely nothing for me. What did you think of the buildup of this, dude?
Lately I haven't been watching too much SmackDown. I've been watching highlights on WWE's YouTube page, and Aiden English. I love his character, sort of. The whole singing thing kind of gets lame after a while, but doing the whole build up for Rusev and taking that RKO for him, that was pretty damn hilarious. But now I see Aiden as the jobber to the stars in this whole entire feud. Over the weeks, seeing him take RKO after RKO after RKO and getting his ass kicked by anybody else in the main roster. But I think this build up between Orton and Rusev though has gone a little too far. And I'll tell you right now why I say that. How much can we bury Rusev right now? How far can we go with this character going up against, Randy Orton? And it's like, we're supposed to be pushing this younger generation. If you think about it that way, this is really tough to talk about because I like Rusev's character. I like what they're doing with him and Aiden English. I wouldn't mind seeing them as a tag team at the moment. But, the whole match between Randy Orton and Rusev, I guess you have your comedy segment with Aiden English in a way, but when you push him to the side, you see Rusev getting buried. This is nothing more than shock and awe for his character. I've been reading things in the internet forums. I've been reading stuff in chat rooms, and everyone's like, Rusev must be on his way out the door. The way that they're treating his character right now, I wouldn't be surprised if we see him released before WrestleMania. But yeah, I don't want to see that happen, but I mean, come on, look what he's got going for him now. He's got Lana. What more does he really need? And we haven't seen her on TV much lately either. But, going back to Aiden English, on the other hand, Simon got screwed up. I wanted to see the Vaudevillains over and over and over, but of course, Gotch couldn't keep his head out of his goddamn ass and screwed everything up. And now all of a sudden, we had to repackage Aiden English to a singing gimmick that semi works. But the crowd, he's over with the crowd. If you saw the pre-show, he was over with the crowd. The crowd loves him. So he's got that going for him. And if the WWE was smart, they would keep the focus on him somewhat with this. And of course, I'll keep thinking about that RKO while he's singing. Keep it fresh.
So, yeah. I'm gonna have to go back and watch the pre-show because I do like Shelton Benjamin, and I do like. I mean, I like both tag teams. I am a Mojo Rawley fan. I'm one of his 3 card-carrying members. Fan of his fan club, and I don't know who was all talking the talk on the pre-show, but nonetheless,
that bald-headed dude with the beard or whatever. I forget who he is. I think he's the guy that does that one radio talk show with the WWE over the table or whatever it is.
Oh, Rosenberg
or whatever. I don't. I
think so. Yeah, he was probably the same. He was on with Renee on the post show. So if he was on the post show, I'm guessing it was him on the opening, the pre-show. So, and I do like him. I like him. He talks well, and he knows what he's talking about when he's talking about it. Even though bring it to the table, he was buried constantly.
I think he speaks for the IWC.
Yeah, and that's he when he talks about stuff like that, he's not like JBL where he's like, oh well, if the fans think that, then they're freaking idiots. Yeah, exactly. Peter never did that, so I respect him for that. And obviously it's scripted as far as what they're going to be talking about, but at least Peter never craps on the fans. But nonetheless, let's keep this going. So yeah, Orton won. That made my night 1 for 2. Not a great start, and of course my night didn't go very well as far as my predictions after that. But nonetheless, it whether I'm right or wrong, how I predict this stuff does not make my night any better or ruin it. I've let it control my feelings before as a fan, and I've gotten a lot better than that. But I wanted Rusev to win, so that was kind of like, I felt like he really needed a solid win after all this weird back and forth booking leading up to this match. But I'm guessing this match between Orton and Rusev is going to be the final, because this is what, match 3, 4, something?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. All right, the United States Championship. Now, this was a surprise to me. I stayed off the internet pretty much all day leading up to this. I did not know that Ty Dillinger was going to be put into this match, even though I felt like he should have been after he beat Baron Corbin this past week on SmackDown. That kind of like put a little thing in my head like, oh, well, if you beat the number 1 contender, that only makes sense to throw him in the match. So they did make it a 3-way for the United States Championship. Ty Dillinger, Baron Corbin, AJ Styles. I thoroughly enjoyed this match. I always like seeing Ty Dillinger. The guy always brings 100%. He's a very hard worker. It's nice to see him get thrown in the spotlight. I think he deserves it. I think he's paid his dues, so to speak, because he's been in the WWE for it's got to be close to 10 years now. And I don't think a lot of people realize that. He was down in NXT before NXT was NXT. He was in the floor. Yes. Yeah, he was down there from that inception as well. So to see him finally get brought up to the main roster and get used it's been back and forth, but this was nice to see. What did you think about this match?
Overall, I enjoyed the hell out of this match. You know, like you said prior to this, you know, the whole pre-show thing. He and Daniel Bryan had a nice little talk talking about how he pinned the #1 contender, you know, on SmackDown Live, and he would like to get thrown in on this. And of course, he kept doing the whole hand gesture with the 10, and he compared it to the yes. And every time Ty Dillinger did yes, Daniel Bryan was doing 10, yes, 10, yes. And it was great. I like that, you know. I'm high on Dillinger. I like his character. It was kind of goofy and, you know, nerdy at first, and now it's like, you know, I'm giving this guy a chance. He's on the big time, you know, he's in the big leagues now. He's no longer down in the developmental stage, and you know, he's got a lot to show. He's still paying his dues though, you know, regardless if it's on live TV or not. I'm sure he's a killer at the house shows because this guy is a workhorse. He goes out there and puts on a perfect 10 match, going up against the likes of Baron Corbin and AJ Styles. You know, these three have a history together now because once AJ became U.S. champ, he was one of the first contenders for the Open Challenge. And, of course, he came up short. And then, of course, you got Baron Corbin, who, you know, who got involved with Ty Dillinger and all this stuff. But these three put on one hell of a clinic last night. But the end of the match, when AJ Styles was capitalizing on Ty Dillinger, and then of course you have freaking Baron Corbin coming out of nowhere, kicking AJ out of the goddamn ring, and just I was like, oh my god, no, they didn't. But you know what? This is what you call protecting one character for another. AJ was protected. He didn't have to take the fall last night. Like he said prior during an interview, it didn't have to be him that loses the match. You know, it could have been Ty Dillinger. You know, there's a 33% chance that you'll win now instead of 50%. And that's exactly what happened as Baron Corbin just like wreaked havoc on it. And I gotta say, I like his new theme song. I don't know if you've heard it, you know.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's interesting to watch Baron Corbin lately because, you know, there's a lot of people talking about him. It's like, oh, he's got one thing they keep bringing up, and they even brought it up. Oh no, I'm thinking of Enzo. Talking about Enzo's heat backstage that they keep on bringing up. It's like, okay, if someone has so much heat on them, then they wouldn't be pushing them like this.
Yeah.
And I don't know the thinking around the whole losing the briefcase. Maybe something did happen around there, but then soon right after that, boom, he's thrown into this feud with AJ Styles for the United States Championship. And you know, I don't pay attention to what Baron says on social media. If there was something controversial there or what all this discussion is about, I don't know. I don't really care either because I've been a fan of Baron Corbin since day one. He's really improved over the course of the last few years, being brought up to the main roster now. And I think where he's proved himself the most is, well, besides in-ring, is all the times he was on Talking Smack and doing the interviews, you know, and cutting these promos and talking about himself and his opponents in the locker room and whatever. That's where I think he shined the most because not everybody can do that. I'm not going to sit there and say that if you give Baron Corbin a microphone and take him out to the ring, he's going to cut a 5-star promo. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the guy has improved a lot with just, you know, talking in general. So they're giving Baron Corbin the ball and running with this, and I'm happy about it. I did not think he was going to win because they're that little thing they keep preaching constantly about, oh, he's got all this heat. We're going to put him in the match, but we're not going to give him the championship because he's got heat on him. Well, he's champ, so
yeah, exactly. You know, Enzo had heat on him, and You know, he was getting punished all these weeks, and now all of a sudden he's cruiserweight champion, and now you got Baron Corbin. You know, he got heat for what was it, for the military personnel that he you know, literally took a shit on, and then as soon as he you know, he found out who this guy was, he changed his tone and he apologized for it.
But, is that what it was? Oh, geez.
Yeah, he apologized and showed his utmost respect for the, you know, men and women in the armed forces, and that's where the heat came in, because, you know, someone backstage apparently saw that tweet blow up because it went viral fast, and I was like, you know, if you want a title match, you want to get a push, piss someone off backstage, and bam. And not only that, he also had heat for the that physician backstage, that doctor, because of CTE, the concussion stuff. Not sure if you focus on that at all, but you know, I read an article where he blew up on a doctor during a staff meeting about concussions and how he didn't have one or whatever, and because of that, yeah, I'll have to look for the article for you. But
yeah, I didn't hear about that either, but
yeah, I read up on that as well. I'm not sure how far, you know, that story really went, but yeah, there's some pretty interesting news that you can find on the internet, all because of you know, certain superstars. But congrats, Baron Corbin. You got a new theme, you got a new title, you got a new push. Roll with this. You know, work on your mic skills a little bit more. Now that you got a title, you can use your ego, you know, as a heel and tell everyone how you're better than they are. But remember, this is the U.S. title. This isn't the WWE World title, so you can't push your ego to the max yet.
No, but you know, he can certainly use this as a tool now and shove it in everyone's face. I mean,
Yeah.
look at what the Miz has done with the Intercontinental Championship. He runs around with that like it is the top title in the company. And the Miz, I give Miz all the respect in the world, because he's one of my favorite heels to watch. I mean, when he got, and I said this once, I'll say it again, when he got his push with John Cena and headlined that one WrestleMania where The Rock came back, I can't remember what number it was. A lot of people, including myself, felt like he didn't deserve that then. Now, I think he does deserve it, and I would love to see Miz get another run on top. But that's besides the point. But yeah, I mean, Baron Corbin has a chance to run with this now, and you know, and just keep stacking positive things on top of this and building. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see where this goes. Is AJ Styles going to chase him? Obviously, he wants his rematch, like he said in the post show. But are they going to put AJ Styles back in the main event thing if they decide to keep the belt on Corbin? What do you think they're going to do?
Well, I think they're going to keep the strap on Corbin for a while. As for AJ Styles, I see him throwing a rematch clause and losing it. You know, and I think this could lead where AJ could win via disqualification, because Baron Corbin will probably do a cheat to win type thing, which will push AJ into the world title picture now, because he's world title material. He doesn't need the U.S. title to prove anything anymore. They did that to take the belt off of Kevin Owens. And now we saw where that went with Kevin Owens, because it led him to a feud with somebody different. But because of this, AJ is going to go up to bigger and better things, where we're going to see the chase between Baron Corbin and possibly Ty Dillinger, because that looks like more of a concrete type feud right there. I like to see these two go at it for a while until there's someone else that can try to take the U.S. title off of Baron Corbin. Right now, there really isn't anybody else on the roster that can actually do it yet, because we're more focused on the tag team division and some of the women's revolution. But yeah, they need to start. I think they need to do another superstar shakeup here soon, and start switching some guys from Raw over to SmackDown, SmackDown over to Raw, and give Baron some new people to face.
Well, I look at the rest of this. I look at the rest of this card, and you could throw a few more people at him, like Ziggler or Rude, which I'm sure will happen at some point over the next half year or so. But yeah, there are so many. Well, you could also, if they break up another tag team like the Hype Bros, you could throw Mojo in there. Would be a good opponent.
As for Zach, I know they didn't do it last night after the pre-show match, but I'm sure it's going to happen this coming Tuesday on SmackDown. I think we're going to see this split.
Oh yeah, they've been it's been a slow burn since Zach's been back.
Yeah, they're going to pull the trigger on it, and the funny thing is, I talked about this last night to a couple friends. I was like, Ryder's the one that needs the heel turn. What if they swerve us and put Mojo Rawley as a heel? Because he's showing more aggression than Zack Ryder is.
He is. Yeah, that's.
So yeah, that's something to think about.
Yeah, I could picture them doing more of a heel thing with.
I mean, look at Mojo. Look what he's done. He's won the Andre the Giant Battle Memorial or Battle Royal, and he has that over his belt. What does Zack Ryder have? Woo, 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 and that's it.
Yeah, yeah. He needs a. They could both use a shakeup, but we'll see where it goes. It'll be we'll be watching it. The SmackDown Women's Championship match between Natalya and Charlotte. That's one thing I think this card needed was more women, but this match itself, even though I wasn't real vested in it, and what's interesting is I don't know if it was brought up on WWE or if I saw it on a fan page somewhere, probably on a fan page. These two have faced off for 4 different women's titles together. Did you happen to see that online?
Yeah. Natalya and Charlotte they face each other in NXT.
Yeah.
And they also face each other on Raw. And I forgot all about that one.
Before the whole big women's push thing, they faced off for the Divas Championship too. So the 2 brand titles and the Divas Championship and the NXT. So that's a compliment right there. That's how I would look at that.
Yeah, that's something to put on your resume. Yeah, I went for all 4 women's titles in the WWE. Yay! But yeah, I think it's awesome at the same time. These two have a long history together, and I love their in-ring work. I love their psychology. This match actually met my expectations last night. Charlotte pulled out all the stops. She did a great job, selling against Natalya. But I don't know if it was a work or not, but I wouldn't be surprised if Charlotte actually did injure herself, pushing herself to the limit against Natalya. Because, I talked to a few friends about the finish of this match, and I don't think that finish was supposed to happen the way it did.
It's seeing Natalya go off on Charlotte like that with the chair is, I mean, how do I say this? Natalya's been a heel for a while now, and they've been cooking this real slow as far as, she's sassy. Her ring work is still the same. She hasn't come up with like a new finisher. It's just her attitude towards everyone else is what's changed. And seeing her as a heel has been one of those It's like, yeah, okay, I'm buying it, but it's, you know, she was a baby face for so long, and now she's a sassy heel. It's working, but now what she did at the end of this match, I think, surprised a lot of people.
Yeah, because Charlotte got worked on the leg, and right at the end, I mean, if this is a sell job right here, where she was outside of the ring selling a knee injury because the ref was unlacing her boot, and it's like it's not often you see a ref actually unlacing a superstar's boot. You usually see the superstar doing that, but the way she was holding that knee almost looked legit. So we might not see Charlotte on TV this coming Tuesday, and if we do see her on TV, more than likely she'll be sporting a knee brace.
Yeah, like Woods has been lately. Yeah, so I mean, if it's legit and they just banged her up to like send her off like she is legit gonna have some kind of surgery or something, we'll have to wait and see what the news says or what they bring up on WWE.com and whatnot. Yeah, I know they've been reporting stuff about Shane McMahon, but was it neck trauma or whatever? But anyways,
yeah.
I can tell you, I'd have a hell of a lot more trauma if I took a 20-foot bump off an announce table. Oh my god! But yeah, it shocked a lot of people. Like I said, including myself, when Charlotte got the chair and just started wailing on her. When Natalya got the chair and started wailing on Charlotte, that's very out of character for her, So yeah, I Charlotte won the match out of DQ, so I still counted it as a negative for me because okay. Natalya retained, but Charlotte won. So I still consider myself as getting that one predicted wrong. Did you think Natalya was going to win, or what did you think?
Honestly, it could have went either way. Natalya would have won or Charlotte would have won. I would have went away happy because I'm a big fan of both of their work. This is what the WWE needs. It needs, classic women's wrestling. These two bring it to the table. Watching these two is like watching Moolah versus Mae Young all over again. And that's exactly what we got last night. And we got a dirty finish at the end of it. And it shocked me the way it ended. But at the same time, this could be, if it's not a legit injury, this could have been, a way of protecting Charlotte from not tapping out to the sharpshooter. But at the same time, it would have protected Natalya from not taking a fall to Charlotte at the same time. Because neither of these two, man, win, lose, or draw, they're both winners in my book on this match. They pulled out all the stops, and I can't wait to see where they go with this story.
Yeah, and it certainly puts Natalya in a whole new light as far as a heel, just because it opened up a whole nother level of, oh, she did that,
Yeah.
So, yeah, solid match there. Natalya retains from DQ. Now, the next segment with the Fashion Files, I've been looking forward to seeing the comeback of the Fashion Files, and it seems like they're kind of, they're not doing much like in the ring stuff. It's all been like backstage segments, which is fine for now. Eventually, I'd like to see these two get in the ring and do some work. But and it seems like they're kind of like in between things right now. Like they're going to start something new this coming Tuesday as far as a comical storyline or whatever. Did you like seeing the Fashion Files back with Breezango, or are you not a big fan of them?
I mean, I'm not too big. I'm a fan of them. I'm not a big fan of the stories that they're telling all the time because I don't get too much of a chuckle out of it. I don't know why. It's like watching Billy versus Billy and Chuck 2.0.
Oh man, that's a whole new can of worms there.
Yes, it is. The way they're pushing these two stars is like, hey, we need a paycheck. Give us the shittiest gimmick ever, and we'll run the, we'll take the ball and run with it. And that's exactly what's happening, and they're making it work. The whole thing with them in Ascension, I think this is the next feud in the story of Fashion Files, because if you saw that they want to be friends, and they were like, these guys are smelly and sweaty and blah blah blah, and they take off their wigs and everything, and they're like, you know, we just wanted to be friends and walk out. I'm thinking to myself, yep, this is going to be the next feud for these two guys, and this isn't going to end well. I do like the Ascension, however, mainly for the fact that they remind me of like LOD 2017 meets Demolition 2017. Let's wear some cheesy face paint and try to make ourselves look relevant. But hey, you know what? It's working for them. Hopefully they don't job the fat or Brazongo. I'm just gonna call him Fashion Files from here on out because that's what the show name is, and
right.
And that should be their tag team name, the Fashion Files. You know, can't get any more PG than that. But yeah, I see them feuding for a little bit, and then finally at the end, Brazongo says, all right, let's be friends. And the Ascension says, nah, we don't want to be your friends anyway.
the attempted hug it out, something.
Yeah. They got to do something with these two tag teams because they're really not going too far in terms of stories. Like you said, you hardly see Brazongo in the ring anymore. They've been off TV for a while, and they've been doing Fashion Files here and there, and then you just got the Ascension. They're just here.
But yeah, they need both those teams need something. And I've always been a fan of the Ascension, and just to see what they've been doing with them on the main roster, it's upsetting to say the least because they do have talent. They've just been it's the true definition of burial, you know. I mean, not everybody can be on top. I get that, but man.
Yeah, but you shouldn't be at the bottom of the barrel at all either.
Yeah. Constantly for the last how many years they've been on the main roster now? 2, 3,
they've been
whatever.
on it for about almost 4 years now, and their burial started when JBL did that shoot on them on Raw, and after that, their career went into limbo.
It was day one, you know. They if you're gonna bring a big heel tag team to the main roster, and they buried them on day one, saying that they were gimmick infringers and all that kind of stuff.
What was the point of even bringing them on the show then?
Yeah, it's just, and that's another reason why I mean, obviously they're fed what to say, but it was so wrong, you know. It's like, okay, put him over his heels, make you hate him, but the insulting did him nothing. No. It'd be the same thing if they, said that Jinder Mahal was some stupid guy from India. You know, it's crazy.
Sad thing is he's Canadian.
Right.
Fun fact, folks, for those who are watching and those who are going to be listening to the show later, Jinder Mahal is really Canadian. Yeah.
By way of up there, hey. So yeah, we'll see what they do on SmackDown with the Fashion Files. The WWE Championship match between Jinder Mahal versus Nakamura. Yeah, I don't have too much to say about this. I was really hoping they'd leave the Singh brothers in the back for once, but we got the same thing again, more interference. I wanted to see these two just duke it out and put on a good match, which they are capable of. But, it's not Nakamura's time. I don't know how long they're going to have this the big belt on Jinder Mahal, but yeah, it just, you know, they gotta do something. They gotta do something. I mean, if they want to make Jinder Mahal, obviously I understand they want to bring him heat by having the interference, but you can't have the interference all the time. What did you think about this match, dude?
Yeah, you know, I know we talked about this earlier before the show, and my thoughts now. This match could have went a hell of a lot better if the Singh brothers weren't always involved. Their involvement makes Jinder somewhat of a paper champ. Yeah, I love what they do, but it's every pay-per-view. They're always involved in every pay-per-view. They always find a reason to use these guys over and over and over, and that devalues the value of a champion. You know, we had Eddie Guerrero who did his cheat to win, but at least the referee did not see that, which made that entertaining. But the ref is always spotting these guys doing this over and over and over, and they're finding a way to get them ejected from ringside. You know, this is Vince doing this on purpose to building him up to be the paper champ he has become. I love his character. I love the gimmick. I love what they've been doing with him, even if they went too far. Because that's what I like about Jinder Mahal. He's pushing that boundary. He's pushing the attitude era type, you know, gimmick. He's offending the PC people, but he's not offending me. But
yeah.
When it comes to using the Singh brothers over and over and over, it's not doing you any good whatsoever. But at the end, they did get ejected from the ringside. And, of course, Jinder found a way to beat, you know, Shinsuke Nakamura. It took a running knee into the turnbuckle, and then he hit his finisher right then and there. But overall, this was still a good match. I enjoyed it very much, but I would have rather seen this as the main event. Because why? This is the WWE World Title we're talking here. You know, this is supposed to be the thing that should be headlining this show every pay-per-view. But instead, we're going to switch things around and make this feel like a mid-card match. No, you do not do that. That's an insult to me, an insult to the wrestling fans, an insult to both of the superstars that were in the ring last night.
Yeah, I feel that way exactly. You know, going back to the old thinking of, you know, back when, you know, whether you like him or not doesn't matter. But back when, you know, CM Punk was champ and wanted to headline WrestleMania when he was champ, and he should have. He should have, exactly. You know, and you know, I agree with that. I've agreed with that for a long time. There's no reason why you couldn't have put these two in a cell and just, you know, yeah, it's not their specialty. You know, Shane's done a lot more extreme things along with, you can look at Kevin's past at Ring of Honor and the Indies. Yeah. He's done a lot of extreme things. So he was good to go for something like this. Nakamura, I don't know what he's all done in Japan. I know he was a top name in Japan, but as far as extreme stuff, I don't know. Same with Jinder. You know, he was a comic doc for years in what, 3-man band. Has not done a lot of extreme things, but it would have been a lot of fun to see these two go out there and do what they could have. You know, I was really hoping at the last minute they'd be like, all right, this is getting nasty. Put them in a cell and see what they could do. And they didn't. And I think they really dropped the ball on that. It should have been in the cell, at least give them a chance. Then at least if you do bring in the Singh brothers, hide them under the ring or whatever, you know, have them get in the cell somehow, knock out the ref, take the, you know, kind of do what Shane did with the, what do you call that? The bolt cutters, you know. Yeah. Take the chain lock off the door, break in, and then get the chairs, and then, you know, work over Nakamura. That I would have been okay with because it's Hell in a Cell. It's You know, you expect the violence, you expect something extreme in the cell. That I would have been okay with, but it was just another match. So yeah. But anyways, I don't want to harp on this all day. But so yeah, Jinder retains. You think we're gonna get the rubber match? Well, it's not really a rubber match, but you think we're gonna get a number 3 out of Nakamura in this, or do you think Nakamura's done chasing the title?
I think he's either done chasing the title, or they're gonna they're gonna do a number 1 contendership, you know, like a tournament or a battle royal to go against Jinder at, let's see, we got Survivor Series coming up here next month. So within the next 4 or 5 weeks, we're going to see probably another number 1 contendership going for the SmackDown Live title.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see if they keep this as a single championship going into like a bigger, one of the bigger 4 pay-per-views, or if they're going to set up classic Survivor Series teams and do team Jinder Mahal with him and the Singh brothers in a match, and maybe 1 or 2 other heels against, say, Team Nakamura or whatever, you know, something like that. Because I always like it when they try to do the classic, you know, keep the classics alive, because we've seen plenty of Survivor Series over the years, good or bad. You know, sometimes some of the, you know, the teams they come up with are kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, okay, that's a team, but you know, you got to have the classics, you know, the classic tag teams in the Survivor Series. So yeah, we'll see where this goes. Rude versus Ziggler was a nice buffer match between this and the championship. In fact, I almost not a knock on Ziggler and Rude, but was expecting to see this earlier in the card, but nonetheless, I really enjoyed this. I laughed at Ziggler's entrance because they kept talking about this big grandiose thing that he's going to do something no one's ever done before, or something to that effect. And then his music hits. Oh, okay, it's his music. And then record scratch. Nothing.
I could have swore they did that with Kozlov when he first joined the WWE back in 2007. Kozlov came out to no music, no Titantron, no nothing before they gave him a gimmick change. Well, it really wasn't a gimmick change, but yeah, I had to go ahead and all he did was come down to the ring, no music, no Tron, just a spotlight, and that was it. So Dolph was wrong about that. What his point was that he's doing what no one's doing now in the WWE. He's coming out to no theme, no nothing, no gimmicks, no bullshit. This is just him coming out, wanting to get to business. And I think that, you know, they should do this for a lot of wrestlers. You know, Cesaro talked about it a while back. He doesn't need LED screens. He doesn't need music. He doesn't need Titantrons. He just wants to go out and kick someone's ass or lose his front teeth. But, you know, bring back some classic traditional heel characters where they come out to absolutely nothing. And regardless if they win or lose, you know, at least they know they had nothing to come out to. But yeah, I thought it was great for Dolph to come out to the, you know, the theme he did yesterday, and I wouldn't be surprised if he does that come tomorrow night on SmackDown.
Yeah, and just knowing that, well, I'm sure his contract is going to be up soon. I don't know when, but I'm guessing it's got to be getting towards the end of it, because I heard that it was like fall time. So, so maybe this was his last hurrah. I don't know. I don't know.
I enjoy his work. I enjoy him. Some people just don't get Dolph, and I like the way he's taking the shit on the wrestling fans, because They want a gimmick and then they don't want a gimmick. They do want a gimmick, then they don't want a gimmick. So he shits on them because of it.
Yeah, that is funny. It is funny. And I love Dolph too. I always felt like he should have gotten a better run as a professional wrestler. And unfortunately, when he was champ or did have something positive at the top, it was taken away immediately because of injury or bad timing or whatever. I've always wanted to see him, get back to that top level because I think he is talented enough to do it. It just never happened. Exactly. And I think there was the little concussion thing that was holding them back too. So they never wanted to do too much with him just in case, because they did give him the ball. He did have the concussion, and then he couldn't do – when he had the championship, they couldn't do anything with him. He just came out and cut promos, which is – that's upsetting, That was back when he was with AJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy. And Big E. Oh, how's that for a flashback? Crazy. But yeah, it was like the complete opposite of what Rude comes out to, which is the big glorious, everyone loves the theme. Well, you assume a lot of people love the theme song. And then Ziggler comes out to absolutely nothing. So, but I felt like the match was good. The end was a little funny. Yeah, I'm glad Rude went over. What did you think of this match?
Overall, I thought this match was good. My network started acting up during this time, and it's just,
damn network.
Yeah, tell me about it. And don't blame it on my internet connection because I get 300 megabits per second. So do not make up excuses. I think, Rude has the full potential to be a great babyface superstar for the next year or so. But I don't see that happening. I see them turning him prior to WrestleMania. If not, keep it till WrestleMania because he would be huge. Imagine over 100,000 people singing Glorious at the grandest stage of them all versus a guy like Dolph Ziggler who'll come out to absolutely nothing. But these two can tear the roof off the place, even in a short time fill-in match. This is the main event before the main event. Who would ever thought we'd see Rude near the main event of an in your house brand pay-per-view? And yes, I went there. I called it an in your house brand because that's what these pay-per-views are. It's nothing more than in your house. Yes.
Yeah, it's not one of the big it's not one of the big four, so it certainly doesn't have as much attention. Yeah. But I give them credit for trying to do what they can with it. Yeah, everyone's got their own opinions. They could have done this, they could have done that to make it bigger. Not every pay-per-view can be WrestleMania. If they did that with every single one, it'd be overkill. You need time to chill stuff out. Give rivalries a slow burn, build back up to the next big show, and not everything can be 1,000% all the time. So
yes,
but yeah, solid match. I love Rude. I'll tell you what, man, and I haven't talked about this much. I'm going to touch on it just for a minute before we get to the main event. I was surprised when they brought Rude up to the main roster, and he was like an instant babyface where he was heel the whole time in NXT. Dude, did that surprise you, or what did?
Rude came to the brand and actually became instant babyface.
Yeah,
I was like, he just got off a title run against Drew McIntyre, and he was a heel. I was like, did he get his ass kicked so much at NXT TakeOver to come to another brand as a super face?
Yeah, it surprised me. I mean, I think he is over enough that he can pull off the babyface stuff.
Yeah.
It just really shocked me. You know?
I think Vince had no idea what to do with his gimmick. According to coming to SmackDown Live, he's thinking to himself, "This theme song's big, damn it. You know what? We're gonna make you a face, and we're gonna go from there." And they hit the kill switch, and whoever he faced, regardless if it was face or heel, he would have been over because the crowd likes singing "Glorious." Yeah.
The song is incredible, and from what I read, it actually took a little convincing on Triple H's part to Rude to make it that, you know, and between that and the little vignettes they would do with the was that Gargano and Ciampa. That was a nice little way to to make the theme go viral and to add some, you know, added speed to you know, put Rude in the public eye, you know.
Yeah.
So it all helped in the long run. Whether you loved him as a heel or hated him or whatever, it all helped. So yeah, we'll see where this goes. You know, we don't know how long Ziggler's going to be around, but Rude is certainly here to stay, and it was good to see him win. Now, certainly last but not least, the Hell in the Cell main event, Shane McMahon versus Kevin Owens. Lot of different rumors floating around. Had a few discussions with my my fellow ramblers about this, and honestly, I kind of wish it didn't, because the rumors leading up to it were true, that we were discussing about Sami Zayn interfering somehow. We weren't sure how, but we kind of thought he would. The other one we were discussing possibly was Triple H interfering, which I'm kind of glad it wasn't. But
yeah, that wouldn't have made much sense.
It just, in a sense, well, because he's helped Kevin before, you know?
Yeah, but when it comes to family matters, on the other hand, I think that's where they came in most with this, by saying, you know, we're going to scrap the idea of having Triple H getting involved. But Sami Zayn, I was like, you know what? That sounds a little bit more accurate. You know, thinking about for the last several years since both Owens and Zayn have been in the WWE, feuding it out in NXT, bringing it to Raw and SmackDown, and then, you know, Shane booking matches. Well, Shane and Brian both booking matches between Zayn and Owens on SmackDown again, reigniting the feud. I think Zayn was tired of having to do the same thing over and over, you know, against his best friend. These two have been going at it since the independent scene. You know, I guess we could say El Generico. El Generico and Kevin Steen. You know, these two tore the roof off the place, regardless if they were tag team partners or battling it out. They brought it to the WWE, repeated history, and now out of nowhere, Sami Zayn comes to his best friend's aid and assists a win, of all things. And I've been reading things on Shane McMahon, you know, from fans saying there's no reason for him to take a dive anymore. The guy's he's in his mid-40s. There's no reason he should be jumping off of cells, you know, doing elbow drops, especially onto a table that doesn't have anything inflated underneath it this time around.
Yeah, I noticed that.
What were they thinking? That right there says we're going to write Shane off for a while compared to what it was like back at WrestleMania when he faced off against Undertaker last year. This time around, I wouldn't be surprised if he had any type of traumatic injury because of that drop. Because that's what, 40 feet almost?
Well, they always say 20 feet, but it seems like a lot more than 20 feet.
Yeah, that's more than 20 feet. I hate to say. Um, in the WWE universe, taller or smaller.
So yeah, I was between Kevin's Kevin's halfway drop off the cell to the table, and we saw that last year. Was it last year or the year before from Rollins and Ambrose? It was one of the last Hell in the Cell ones, which was great, you know. But they certainly stepped it up a notch with this one, um, especially with all the bumps they took on top. Uh, I was shocked and cringed with every move they did on top of that cell. It I'm jealous of the people there
Yeah.
because it was one of those where during different parts of the match you could probably have heard a pin drop with the tension in the air watching these two up there.
Yeah.
You know how many moments, you know. Oh man, it's so yeah. The ending with Sammy was, um, even though we had talked about it, was still surprising.
Yep.
And the fact that his given rivalry that he actually helped Kevin and didn't hurt Kevin. That was a shock. Shane, yeah, I think Shane's going away for a while. God, how many more of these is Shane gonna do? I don't think he has to do any more. You know, I know he's. I will give Shane a lot of credit though. He's a guy who has always believed in bringing it 1,000%. You
Yeah.
know, he is a workhorse. He's not in the ring all the time. Yeah, he's a part timer, but when he's out there, I don't. Okay, he's. I'll say this: he brought it a lot more than one of my classic favorites, Goldberg. You know, doing the coast to coast with the trash can again. Man, he does it flawlessly every single time. In fact, this time he did it to the point where it looked like he completely jacked up Owens. Was like, oh, what did you think about the match besides the swerve ending and whatever? What did
Besides
you?
the sort of ending, these two put on a clinic. They tore the roof off the place. Like I said before, I would have rather seen the main event with Shinsuke but I guess other people would see a different point of view from this. There was a reason why this was the main event and why that wasn't, because they had a lot of action packed, spots, in the mix. And I just think, that they really had nothing else to prove in this match. They just went out there. They said, we're going to beat the hell out of each other. We're going to do spots left and right. We're going to put you through a trash can. We're going to do spots off of the cell. And we're just basically going to say, hey, you know what? We want Shane to put himself out of commission by all means, while Kevin Owens is semi-protected to where he can still perform on a daily basis. But I got to say, these two are workhorses. Shane, take a break for a while. When you're healthy, come back to SmackDown Live again. As for Owens, good job. You and your best buddy made it happen last night. You shocked the world. You did an excellent job at that. I really don't know what else to say about it. I just, from start to finish, this match was just nonstop action. To take it outside of the cell, it was a false count anywhere, which was pretty cool. But there was really no need to go outside of the cell. But we saw the reason why they did it. So,
Oh
good
yeah,
job, Amy, on your heel turn last night. You finally got the crowd against you. Um, I'm actually looking forward to Tuesday night SmackDown. I won't be watching Raw tonight because I want to keep my mind focused on one brand and one brand only, and that's SmackDown.
Yeah, Raw's been back and forth lately as far as, you know, good or bad nights. But I certainly want to see where this goes between Kevin Owens and Zayn. Are they going to make them like up? I almost said power couple. Oh, there, I said it. Yeah, that. Oh no, just no.
You're fired.
Fire me off my own show. Yeah, just I could. I don't know where I would go from here with them. Honestly, if you're gonna keep Kevin at a top tier level along with Sammy, make him a duo and have them become like tag champs or something, I would certainly enjoy that. It would put another notch on the level of excitement in the tag team division, pairing these up and then breaking them up again right before Mania and have them put on a Mania worthy, you know, give them a half an hour at Mania or whatever, you know, in a cell, for crying out loud, you know. That would be my end game, if anything, if I could see this just off the top of my head. What do you think they're going to do with them?
Honestly, I have no idea what they're going to do with them right now. I think tomorrow night they're going to do a Kevin Owens promo, and they're going to have Zayn come out, and more than likely he's going to talk about how the WWE Universe has been losing faith in him lately, and he was kind of tired of it. And I'm sure Owens is going to put some words into his head, you know, poison his mind even more, and it's about he never needed these fans, and the fans definitely don't need him. And that's going to set the stage right there that it's a full heel turn, because I really don't know what else they're going to do with that, you know, the Owens Zayn regime. But
Yeah,
it's going to be interesting to see what they're going to pull out this Tuesday, because you can't leave this ignored like nothing ever happened. So
yeah, you can't just brush it to the side like when Triple H came out and helped Owens, and then you didn't see anything else after that, which you expected it, but then nothing else happened, and then this happens. So yeah, they've got to do something with this. So that's going to pretty much wrap it up for this. Overall, I enjoyed it. You know, I wasn't very vested in a few of the matches, but overall, I'd say it was a good show overall. What did you think overall?
yeah, I thought it was a great 3 out of 5 star show. You know, it could have been much better if some things in the show didn't happen the way it did, but you know, there was a lot of swerves and plot twists and everything else. And I mean, this is what you get out of the WWE event now. You know, you get your $9.99's worth. You don't spend $50-$60 like you do, like you used to back in the good old days. So you pay pay $9.99 for a product, you're going to get $9.99's worth. So expect that, folks.
Yeah, true. Although the starter and finish matches, I'd say were $9.99 worth.
Yeah,
just by themselves. So for this guy, CM Stylez, thank you so much again for joining me. Always a pleasure having you on.
always.
And that's going to do it for this. And coming up later this week, Ramblers are probably going to give their 2 cents on this as well later this week. I'll join them probably Wednesday. Diz has got a new schedule, so you know, times are a little up in the air now. We'll have to see what we can bring. But nonetheless, Lucha Underground review coming later this week for Ultimate Lucha Trace, along with some other things coming to the channel as well. So if If you like what you're watching, hit that like button, share it with your friends, ring that bell for notifications, give the channel a sub, and by all means, go check out and give the old Destroying Kayfabe a visit, if you will. Any thoughts on the future of Destroying Kayfabe there, Stylez?
I want to bring it back sooner or later, but I need the product to give me much more than what it's worth. Get a little bit more edgier, offend me for once, and then I can talk about it. But until then, you're not giving me the full product anymore. You're giving me 1 hour's worth of your time, and then the other 2-3 hours recycling bin.
Yeah, I hear you. All right. Well, nonetheless, give the page. I know the page is still active. There are some folks sharing stuff on there, so give it a shout out. And yeah, we'll see you down the road for the next one. Thanks again, Stylez. We'll see you real soon.
All right. Peace out.